what you think you're interested in, Dave the Mark.
Well, I try.
Welcome everyone to This Is a Revolution. Dave has just been caught really off guard there because I set that recording and I just wanted to see. I wanted to see if there was a bit of hubris there, a bit of like, yes, I am interested. But in true Dave fashion, he plays himself down a little bit. I'm George, joined by Mr. Dave the Mark. Dave, how are we, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm ready for what feels like all in Forbidden Door WrestleMania weekend, whatever we're gonna call it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's also like 2 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah, I see you're dressing very
Feels,
Welsh today, mate.
mate. Yeah, I didn't even do that intentionally. I got the Made of Stone T-shirt at the weekend. Danny Jones. Love the guy and think he's absolutely underrated. And I literally just pulled the first hat out because I'd just got out of the shower and I had shit hair, so I was like, I'll throw a hat on, and it just happened to be James Ellis. So yeah, I am inadvertently Welsh, although it's going to look far more strategic than it really was.
Yeah, I love it, love it. Oh, mate, yeah, you're right. Like the way, how do we call this weekend? It is like almost like a mini WrestleMania weekend, isn't it? Like
Hmm.
you've got the big show and all the cards happening around it, and I think between the two of us, we're covering most of it this weekend as well, mate. Like,
Yeah, are
it's
we
just,
at any shows together apart from Uprising?
are you doing tomorrow morning with Kanji and Jay Attack?
Yes.
Yes, mate. Yeah, then we are,
Oh, wicked. Should we start our weekend together?
and we can end our
Yep.
weekend together.
And then you're doing AEW, right?
I am, mate. Yes, I've got Attack in the morning, AW at 5:30, and then Uprising the next day. So been a while since I've done that many wrestling shows in that much
Yep.
like a short of a time frame. So I'm going to be interested to see how it's been for me. Of course, I was in Cardiff last week as well, so feel like I only just got back from Cardiff and I'm back again. Like
Yeah.
love the place now, love it. But yeah, mate, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good weekend. Getting to Cardiff, I think 9:30 ish tomorrow. Get on a 7:30 train. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm leaving the
that's
house at 6.
yeah, it's given me enough time to get to the hotel, get my bags into the hotel, and Caitlin to look after them while we head off down to there. I'm getting on the train with a young reprobate, Mr. Will Warrener. He's joined me. So I've got to tell this story. Will love this, right? Because he's being center of attention in this story, and he will fucking love it. So Will was planning on coming for Uprising, had his ticket booked, and he went to me. Okay, mate. So I'm gonna come in. I'm getting into Cardiff at midnight on Saturday, so I'll come and meet you afterwards for drinks and dinner. I went, sorry, mate. What? I went. Did you say midnight on Saturday, as in like the Saturday to Sunday midnight? He went, yeah, yeah. We'll go for drinks and dinner afterwards. I went, mate. I'm old. I'll be in bed.
Who the fuck is having food at midnight? Do
Right.
young people do this?
Well, so this is the next bit, mate. Right. And I was like, Will. I said, why are you getting to that late? He was like, well, I've got nothing to do during the day. He went, oh, I might buy a cheap AW ticket. And I was like, well, if you don't want to spend on an AEW ticket, why don't you get a ticket to the Attack show? And I sold him on Jay and Kanji and Danny and Leon, and that was enough for him. He's like, yeah, all right, I'll do that. I went, then that way you can get early entry to your hotel for 15 quid. Then you can just chill out in the hotel. And he was like, okay, cool. He went, so, and I don't know what time AEW is going to finish, right? I think last time it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock ish, wasn't it? By the time
Yeah.
it went, cool. So I'll come and meet you for dinner after AEW. Went, mate, I'm old. Like I'll be eating in the
Bedtime.
mid afternoon. Like I said, I might go out for some drinks later, but I'm definitely not going to be. I'm definitely going to be like I've had dinner by that point, well in advance of that time. Like I
Like,
don't want.
we're there for the early bird special.
Yeah, mate, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I know exactly where I'm going for lunch tomorrow, mate. I know exactly where I'm going.
You go where we went.
I'm going back to Smokehouse. Yeah,
Oh, I love
so
that.
I convinced myself that I wasn't going to do it 2 weekends in a row, and last
Hold
weekend
on,
I wasn't.
we're doing Attack together, right?
Yes, mate.
Shall I come join you for a smokehouse?
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah. So we've got that going on, and then yeah, and then I was convinced, no, I'm going to do that one week and then something else another week, and now fuck it. How often? But I say I don't go to Cardiff that often, twice in 2 weeks, and then last year I did twice in the winter as well. So it seems to me that I go for two weekends in December every year now. So Love it. But yeah, it's gonna be good, mate. It's gonna be a fun weekend. I'm already looking forward to Monday because I have nothing on at all. I've booked a day off work because I'm going to
Oh,
need to
I'm slightly
rest.
jealous of that.
I had 5 days holiday, and we can carry over a certain amount, like up to 5 days worth of holiday. And I was going to
Yeah.
carry over all five because 2026 is already looking busy for me. 23 things booked already for next year. Um, and that's, I think, maybe two wrestling shows in there, maybe three.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's two Eve shows and Rev Pro at Wembley, and that's it, wrestling wise.
So are all your other ones gigs?
Gigs, comedy shows, stuff like that. Yeah, mate. Yeah,
Oh, mate.
yeah.
I've got my 31 Rev Pro tickets booked for next
Yeah,
year so far.
I saw that. When I saw you say on Twitter about how much it cost per ticket, I was going to quote tweet and say, cost Dave a marriage and a Father of the Year award as well.
Yeah, there's going to be no Father of the Year awards.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I'm led to believe there are no plans for Rev Pro to run on my daughter's birthday, which is a Sunday.
Nice.
It's not on any of the season tickets, and from chats I've had that nothing's like planned for like a York Hall or something on that day. Doesn't mean it won't happen because we know stuff comes up, right? Opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just said to her the other day, I was like, if Rev Pro happened to be running on your birthday, she was like, no, you wouldn't be able to go. I said, what if I took you and we timed it with like a Comic-Con or something like that? She's like, oh, yes, we could do that. I was like, cool, right. Now I need to find a Comic-Con on the 28th of June somewhere that I can then get to Rev Pro, or some kind of like really kind of, something she can get immersed in. She's really, really into at the moment, like Japanese culture.
I was going to say, was it like Japanese K-pop and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so she
Yeah.
listens to Vocaloid music, which is new to me. It's like from what I've gathered from her, it is voice actors and like voice sample boxes that they pull together and make songs from.
Okay.
And they're all like sung in the style and characters of these like different anime characters.
Okay. I've got Spotify loaded. I've just typed in Vocaloid, and it's got best Vocaloid songs. I'm just going to quickly. This is going to make for some shit. So Dave, just talk a minute. I'm just very quickly going to listen to one to get an idea because I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Well, mate, this is my fear, right? I mean, my fear is that my Spotify Wrapped next year is just going to be this. Because when we drive to school together, the rule is I choose the tunes for the journey there. She chooses them for the journey home. So, like this week, we've been listening to The War on Drugs. We've been listening to Nick Cave's Never Far Away from the Playlist. We've been listening to a bit of Pearl Jam, but Smashing Pumpkins, stuff like that. And on the journey home, it's all this stuff.
So I've just listened to one, right? And here's the funny thing: there's I went through this period of these Japanese video games that I was playing, and there's such weird soundtracks. Some of it sounds very similar to that.
Yeah, and do you know what? She put someone on the journey home today, and I was like, that'd be a banging wrestling theme. Like, it's very like New Japan style wrestling themes, but kind of they're less dramatic ones and they're more like fast tempo ones for like the younger guys.
There was one that I played one time, and it's a game called Undertale, and I had this song off of the soundtrack. I was like, and I just in my head sometimes with music, I can hear it and I can draw out this whole thing, right? So one of my geeky habits I used to be into, or hobbies I used to be into back in the day, years ago, is a thing called e-fedding, right? Effectively, you know that, like you create these characters, you write all the promos, you build a world, like a literary world around them, and I loved that when I was younger. And I had this whole thing built up around this one particular song, the song called Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold. And
I know it.
So you know the beginning with the keys and everything. I had this whole thing, like this imagery in my head. If I was ever a wrestler, I'd want an injury angle that I was out for ages, and like then the lights just go out, plays this song, and like I've got in my head how it would look, and then like the nightmare would happen, the person would be revealed, all of that stuff. So I can get my head like that sometimes. And I heard this song on the Undertale soundtrack, and I was like, that would make a banging theme for Kenny Omega.
Mhm.
Only to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
out
yeah.
1 year at Wrestle Kingdom, he fucking did it. I have no
Oh,
idea because
really?
I wasn't really following New Japan all that much. I was like,
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
sound like a banging song for Kenny Omega, and he did it. He'd actually already done it. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it
Makes
makes
sense,
sense.
mate.
Yeah. Oh well, Dave. Look, we're here on this Friday night, and we know we can't keep this going too long because we got to get this pushed out to the masses for those who are starting their journeys and want to hear about everything. So we're going to touch very briefly on Live in London before we get to this
Right.
right behind me. Um, this isn't a fake background. I've got this massive poster up on my wall. Like, Andy Quilden charged me an arm and a leg for it, but we're here. We've got it. But obviously, you were at Portchester Hall on Sunday. I wasn't.
I was.
I've not seen the show. I was otherwise engaged on Sunday. But what was your? I've heard a lot about it, but what was your standout match slash moment from the weekend?
Joe Lando, mate. 100%. That match was incredible. I feel like overall the show was all right. Like it was good. It wasn't great. It was the first show since like probably the first show this side of the anniversary that was just like a bit mid. But it was absolutely like I won't remember the rest of the card, but I will remember the main event for a long time. And there was nothing bad on it at all. There was nothing bad on it at all. It was just maybe not quite hitting as much as recent shows have, and maybe just not quite as much development. But then at the same time, there's not much to develop at this point, is there? When you've got the big show around the corner, you just needed to kind of dot the I's, cross the T's, get everybody up for it. But the main event, mate, the main event was absolutely class. Did not see it coming in the slightest. Was fully expecting Nino to retain. I love, like, the match itself was so far beyond my expectations of it. I'd said that I remember us when we were chatting about it before on the last pod. I said I was keen to see which match would like grab me because it wasn't clear which match was like, gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I knew that everybody would go away saying this was their match of the night, but I wasn't convinced I would, simply because everybody loved their first match and I wasn't as high on it.
I remember you saying, yeah.
But this was leagues beyond that. But this was something else entirely. The story, the athleticism and stuff was just nuts. Like, clearly they had put a lot of time and thought into the innovation that we were going to see. But that's, it's what goes after that. Really random. I don't suppose you've seen the clip that's going around on socials of Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, talking about Leon Slater.
No, I haven't.
And he's basically massively putting him over, but he's like, this kid comes into TNA and he can do these unreal things. And you're like, fuck, like, that's really impressive. How old is he? Oh, he's only 19, 20 at the time. Like he could be class. And then you actually watch him wrestle regularly and you're like, oh shit, no, he's already absolutely class. Because he doesn't need us to teach him the storytelling and the psychology to go with these great moves he can do. And it made me think of this match because Nino and Joe are both wrestlers that can do things that other people can't do, and that always impresses people.
Yeah.
But this match had so much story and psychology to it, and an additional, like, there was so much kind of CPF lore within the match, and the way they tied it in with Danny Black and Taylor James losing because they were outnumbered because Maverick Mayhew's fucking nowhere to be seen, and that's canonized. Like, that's not just Wes Mayhew. Like, It's no. Joe's talking about it in backstage reactions. I've got an interview with him coming out tonight where he talks about it. We've got Danny referring to it in reactions. Then you've got the fact that Joe can't be there because he's getting ready for his own match. So these guys lose. They lose to the Sons of Southampton, the new Sons of Southampton, which is the shittest name ever. And I love it for that reason. So there's all of that side of it. Then you've also got Nino after the match being completely lost. Leland Bryant sitting next to him, kind of looking up at his big older brother, like his hero's just been kind of humbled and humanized. And you got Xander Bryant fucking pissing vinegar, fuming with Joe Lando and just seething. And you're like, there's such a cool dynamic there. There's the cool dynamic within CPF. This match has added to all of that. It was an absolute banger, but it also told a story. It was cliche, but it was pro wrestling at its best, and I bloody loved it, mate.
Yeah, that's from people that I've been speaking to. That's exactly what I've been hearing. It's funny because we know the conversation we've had and me talking about when I thought the belt was going to change, and then I found it really interesting that Joe called his shot when he did, because I did think at the time when he called it, I was like, well, there's no way he loses that match, surely. And I think in my mind, he was more likely to win it if Nino beat Lio Rush. But I was that convinced that Lio would beat Nino that actually I felt that he was even more unstoppable. And it was like, well, maybe this is just another big match for Nino to have. So I still expected the title drop to come. But at the same time, because of how I expected it to come, I think I just worked myself around with it. So I came into this actually not necessarily expecting it, but when it happened, I wasn't shocked either.
Yeah.
What I loved about it as well, where I was really worried, I was really worried, was that we're going to have Nino drop it in the scramble. And the reason I was worried about it is because what Nino's done with that belt, his run on a consistency level, but not just consistency in how good he's been, but consistency in terms of great matches, but consistency in growth. Because look, I'll be the first to admit, I've said all along, I'm like, yeah, Nino's good, he's really good, and that almost sounds damning with faint praise. It's not meant to. It's just that we've got so many amazing performers that actually standing out in the way that someone does. And he just kept going, and I didn't realize till I take stock and look back on it just how much growth he's had and what he's done and what he's achieved, and it's been fantastic to watch. And the lad has really earned the position he's got. He is one of the strongest booked people in Rev Pro this year.
Yep.
I think if I get my arse in gear and actually get the forms out to do end of year awards, he will feature very, very highly in terms of people that have had a great year. I don't see many people beating him in many regards, and look, I think it shows what happens if you can book things the right way. And obviously, there's different intentions behind it, but you've got someone like Will Caven who had a very long reign, and it didn't feel like it was done. He kind of got over in a different way, but with Nino, it's just match. And it just felt like a really, really, really strong reign. And I'm glad
he barely had the title for that long, really, when you think about it, 6 months. But the number of defenses in 6 months, he averaged more than a defense a month.
Yeah.
Which is nuts because we haven't seen a title defense. We haven't seen a championship like that since I first started going to Rev Pro in 2022. And even then it was the roster was much, much smaller. The roster, the range of people that they booked was much smaller, and it was kind of like Robbie X defending the cruiserweight title can basically headline any show. So you could have a pretty kind of what we would look at now as a really mid card, and then you stick Robbie versus Lycos in the main event for the championship, and you're like, cool, there's something tasty there. So yeah, that's class. I really want to know what you think is going to happen Sunday.
Okay, well, shall we? You know what? I'm just going to get the card in front of me as well because it hurt my neck to turn around and look at my big poster the whole time. I'm going to get the card loaded and let's go through it. Let's talk about it. So,
can I ask you a really this might throw the format off slightly?
Go
but
for
can
it,
I
mate.
ask you a really big question that affects 3 matches?
Yeah, before you do, actually, I'm just going to make a statement that I was just going to make. This is how my brain works. I was thinking of just saying something. You just mentioned before that about Leon Slater. Now, obviously, Leon was supposed to be on this card originally, and
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of shit being directed in Leon's way online, and people talking about like commitments that he had. I'm just gonna say,
Are they fucking kidding?
right, like, and I've not seen any of the normal people I see go to Rev Pro who are saying this, or even WXW, but there's a lot of shit being thrown his way, and I want to say how fucking amazing it is that this lad, when I was his age, just literally a year older, maybe, I think was the first time I attended an event that had AJ Styles on it, right? And
Yeah.
AJ, as someone who was a WWE fan that then found TNA, and that was my first entry into indie wrestling, actually.
Yeah.
AJ Styles in Doncaster, 21, 22 years of age. He was he was the biggest guy in the world to me. Like the biggest guy in the
Like,
world. Like he's gonna go in there and wrestle AJ Styles. I don't know if it's a tag title match or not, but I know he's wrestling AJ Styles on a show at one of the big arenas in Washington on a WWE main card. Like that theme song that we have heard in the 229,
yeah.
1965, St. Neots Priory Centre, Dave,
Yeah.
is going to be blaring
Like,
out through there. And he's going to
it's
wrestle AJ Styles.
It's John Cena's final match.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the most watched shows of the year. If he was going to wrestle on Raw, it would be massive. This is beyond that.
The only thing better than this is WrestleMania. Like, quite frankly,
literally.
WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. Like, he is wrestling on the format that me as a kid, when I was 7 or 8 years old, you sit playing with my wrestling figures while Saturday Night Main Event was on.
I'm like, oh mate, that's annoyed me ever so slightly, so I'm not going to let it annoy me too much. But he hadn't got a choice. He's contracted to TNA.
Yeah.
So what do people want him to do? Turn around and just be like, no, I flat out refuse to do that because I have to honour a booking I have with a promoter that I value a relationship with.
Yeah.
What? So then shit all over his TNA deal, mess up his relationship with WWE, and potentially in one moment completely change the course of his career.
And the thing is, what he is doing now is what we should want every single person in Red Pro to be doing. We should want this for Young Guns. We should want this for Greedy Souls, for Leon Cage, for Danny Black, Joe Lando, Nino Bryant, Connor Mills, Michael Oku.
Michael Mills.
Yeah, like, we should want this for every single one of them because this is the game. This is why they're doing this.
We're not here to gatekeep. Like, we are not here to keep these people as our special little, if you know, you know. Like,
yeah, I've always said that, like, I will happily go and see these people for as long as we can have them. Yes. I don't want to have them for a long time, no matter how much that kills me.
100%. Yeah,
so, yeah,
I'm really glad you addressed that, mate. I avoid the discourse.
Yeah,
and the narrative that are on social media, which, you know,
just happened to see a little bit of it, and I was like, hang the fuck on, like, yeah, like, the lad is going in there, like, against AJ fucking Styles. AJ Styles, like, that is incredible. And like, I said, I do not watch WWE, right? It's not my bag. I will be watching this.
Yeah, 100%.
I will watch that because that for me is everything I loved about when I started getting into independent wrestling in AJ.
Yeah.
And one of the nicest lads I ever had the chance to meet as part of like coming to events. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna claim I know Leon deeply. I don't. But the interactions I've always had with him have always been lovely. So yeah,
Yeah, top lad, and
yeah,
just unbelievable talent.
yeah. Sorry, you were going to throw a question to me
Yeah.
about
My
the.
question for you, mate. This is I'm diving in right at the top.
Go for it.
There are 3 championships that are being defended against Welsh wrestlers.
Mm.
Do any of them win? Are any of them in your mind like if he wins, that means he might not win? Or maybe they'll have him win because they're not going to have him win. How much is it give the Welsh crowd a big Welsh win for any of them? Or
Yeah, so there is potentially there's one that I think is nailed on, or I think should be nailed on, and there is two where I think if one happens to change hands, I don't think the other one will. So I'll talk you through. The one that I think is nailed on has to be Shah versus Jay. So again, I mean, no disrespect to Shah, but I could see when it was a triple threat, I could see there being another option for how we go here. I think the unless they're gonna go into suit and tie Uber heel Shah Samuels, I think it's the wrong thing to do because I think that is a big way to piss off the crowd. Like it's that moment in waiting, right? And look, it'd be a choice, and I'd see how it plays out, but I don't know if it's the right choice. That then comes down to the scramble match and the tag team match. So in theory, I would say Leon Cage. So my thing has always been Nino has a strong reign, gets beaten by Leo or Joe Lando, and then drops it at Cardiff to Leon Cage.
you think Joe might be transitional?
I think Joe could be transitional because I still think that there is a point of wanting to not rush Nino versus Leon Cage 3.
Yep.
That's where my brain's going. However, does it then start pandering a little bit to crowds if you then have all of the Welsh people win all of their matches? Because one of the things that I really hate about about shows when they come to the UK is like, let's fill it all with UK talent. It's like, respectfully, like that's fine, but I don't want that just because they're from the UK doesn't mean I want to cheer them all the time. Like, I get that it's for them to have their moment as well, but I want to see these people I don't see all the time. So does it then, like say, start to get a bit pandering? But the thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is Young Guns versus Greedy Souls. I haven't been particularly enthused by the way that Greedy Souls just kind of the match came about. And I've said that they've come in, they've attacked the champions, and they've got a match out of it that way. Like it felt a bit of a cheap way to get a Welsh team on the card, right? Okay, but I get it, right? It is what it is. But can you have Greedy Souls come back in, and I know they've had one match as part of a multi-man, but can you have them lose straight away? You could, but can you? And
But you could, but should you?
yes, yeah, exactly.
Like,
so, but I do wonder if Leon wins his match, can they then do a title change there? And if Greedy Souls win their match, can Leon be the one that picks the title up?
So,
what's your thinking?
If we go like prediction wise, are you predicting Jay beats Shah?
Yes.
Are you predicting, and then you're saying either Leon or Souls will win?
Yes.
And if you had to pick one?
My mind is going more towards Leon, but then I still have, but then my head, or sorry, my heart is going more towards Leon. My head is saying, from what I expect as someone who watches wrestling and looks for patterns, not as a smart mark booker, wannabe, all that sort of, but patterns of how things play out. Then also potentially Greedy Souls. I literally can't. I don't know if I can make a prediction between the two, and it would be a coin toss for me.
Got ya. Okay. So this is really interesting because we have a lot of similar views but also some quite big contrasting views. I also believe that one title change will affect the other.
Mm-hmm.
But my predictions are Young Guns will beat Greedy Souls.
Yeah.
They'll go into 2026 as the tag champions, and they're going to have a longer reign still to come.
And I hope so with that, because I genuinely think they deserve that.
Yep. I also believe Joe Lando to be the transitional champion, and I also believe that Leon Cage will win on Sunday, and the crowd will get their big moment. I don't think that it does Joe any harm whatsoever. He will always be an undisputed British Cruiserweight champion. He will always have his name there with Will Ospreay and Prince Devitt and, the like.
He'll be that guy that ended that Nino Bryan run as well.
Yeah. And it feeds the fire of you cashed one of our trophies in for personal gold and then you fucked it up at the first hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole kind of Taylor James on the backstage reactions to Danny Black that when one of us wins, we all win, and Danny being like, do we though? Like,
yeah.
I know we say that, but does it actually mean that?
Yeah.
Is there a way that Joe loses because of Danny? Not in a Danny turns on him, but just
inadvertently.
In an inadvertent way. I quite like all of that. I have this really strong feeling that Sha Samuels is going to retain and go full on absolute monster heel. Like the absolute East End butcher, and he's just going to batter the shit out of everyone's favourites for a little period. I'm not sure how that, as in, I know that would be badly received because it will be hot. I don't know if it's good heat or bad heat. I think the question would come with, if they do this, do people not buy tickets to shows that he's on because it's like, fuck, I don't want to see that? Yeah. Or is it that they just, because if people want to boo Shaw, if people want to give him flag, he will eat it up.
Of course he will. Yeah, he's fantastic.
And he will thrive under that.
Mm-hmm.
And Rev Pro can absolutely lean into that booking. It's just, I don't know what I want to see more. I think we're going to see heel Sha Samuels either way.
Okay, yeah. So let me tell you then what my thoughts on that are, because I think I keep my ear to the ground of what people are feeling in terms of probably than you do, and just from people I chat with. So, and I really want to stress that when I'm saying all of this, I'm not talking about Sha Samuels, the guy, like the wrestler. Like I'm talking about the characters, what you see in the ropes and all of that. When I'm talking about people, right? Obviously, but I think this for me very much feels like WrestleMania 30. Jay Joshua has almost been put in that spot by the crowd. I really feel that everyone you meet loves Jay to that level that they feel like it's been a collective effort to put him there. Right now, that's not to say that we're working against a tyrannical booker, because Andy Quildan obviously listens to what people want. He's not actively working against it. But one of the things that I do here is that there's a lot of nearly men in Rev Pro. Okay, so people that probably think should get spots, like Connor Mills is one, Jay would be another, and in a lot of the other bigger promotions in the UK, people like Mills, Jay, Nico Angelo, Leon Cage are holding gold throughout those promotions, and they are people that fans gravitate to. So do I think that if Shah retains, it's good heat or bad heat? I think it's bad heat, because I don't think people will be booing Sha Samuels, the character. They'll be booing Sha Samuels retaining the booking. That's what I think people will get. So that's what I think this that's why this for me feels like the moment to do it. We've had this match now a couple of times. And the
Mhm.
last time we had it in Leon, Shah had cheated to win. And
Yep.
can you I mean you can go down that, but like you said earlier, you can, but should you? So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I'm feeling with this one.
The backstage reactions videos this week, like if you watch those and you don't watch Rev Pro, but you watch that to get a bit of a taste of this story, Shaw Samuels is the heel, Jay
Hmm.
Joshua is the babyface, like 100%. Jay comes out, he's vulnerable, he's frustrated with himself. He made a mistake by letting Shaw get him with the belt because he was distracted by other things going on, and he's kind of beating himself up. Shaw is like reveling in the beating he'd just given Harry,
Yeah.
and you can tell one of the things that is it's a really small detail, but Shaw stopped shouting the word East, and
Okay.
instead he stares down the lens of the character and just says East, and it's such a small thing, but it's threatening.
Hmm.
It's not oi oi boysy boy. It's it it's sinister. 100%. I think the East End Butcher next year is going to be a big thing in Rev Pro. Um, and the East End Butcher can be on all levels. Like he could be East End Butcher taking out Michael Oku and Jay Joshua and Connor Mills and people like that. Or he could be the East End Butcher taking out your Leon Cages and Nino Bryants and people like that. Or he could be the East End Butcher taking out everyone who literally comes into Rev Pro for the first time. Like
Yeah.
you can do it at all different levels.
Which was almost in some ways that was kind of the role Trent Seven had a little bit, wasn't he? Where he was kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think I think it's really interesting because I don't think this was ever going to be the Uprising main event in the original. Like, if you were going to say to what was the plan for the year, I think the plan was I've always said this. I thought Leon Slater was going to win the Revolution Rumble. Leon Slater was going to win the title at the anniversary show,
Hmm.
and therefore the plans would have revolved around Leon Slater being champion at this point.
Yeah.
But this time last year, Leon Slater was not working with WWE, and
No.
that changes everything.
Of
And
course it does. Yeah.
the fact that they have pulled him from this show, this is no small thing that he was advertised for this, and they had to pivot. And like, I just when Liam did the thing, and he made the announcement at Portchester Hall, I just sat there and was like, I was just pulling faces, mate. If the camera was on me, I must have looked like an absolute dick because it was just like, oh shit, like this is bad. This is really, really bad for business. This is bad for the company. This is
Yeah.
like, fuck. I feel sorry for Andy.
Of
I
course.
feel
Yeah.
sorry for
Yeah.
Craig. Like they've got to now fucking course direct again.
Hmm.
And obviously afterwards, you're like, fucking brilliant for Leon. That's great. But my initial reactions were like, no, shit for the company.
Yeah.
But when they have to pivot, like there's different ways you can go with it, right? It's like AEW when they would often be like, oh, things aren't quite working, put the belt back on Moxley.
Yeah.
And Shaw kind of is like a bit like that in this role. Just a really, really, really safe pair of hands where you know that you can give him anything and he'll do it brilliantly.
Hmm.
Like he will talk you into wanting to watch a match.
Yeah.
Jay, you're right. Like Jay is so much like the organic fans' favorite. They could not make it more obvious what they want in Jay Joshua, and it's not just the London crowd. Like it is up and down the country.
Yeah.
In London, it is 10 times louder. The cheers for Jay and the boos for Shaw, 10 times louder than anywhere else. But it's really fascinating, and it's funny because you asked me just before we recorded which match I'm most looking forward to. and I said this match. But I'm looking at you on my screen now, and you have got Michael Oku and Connor Mills next to you.
Yeah.
And that is like that's
that,
what got me into Rev Pro. Literally those two men.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited to see Mills and Oku.
Yeah.
But the whole jeopardy around what they're going to do with the championship is what makes me, and how people are going to react to it, is what makes me so intrigued in Shah and Jay.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So it's almost like the pure wrestling fan in me is most excited for Oku and Mills.
Mm-hmm.
But the kind of smarter Mark, like, who is aware of like how, you know, looking at it from a business perspective, a company, a product, rather just an immersion, is so fascinated by the main event.
Yeah, I get that. And look, I would agree with you as well that I think going into next year, that character shift for Shah, I think needs to happen. I said to you, when Shah came back to Rev Pro, I was a fan of Shah, right? I was. But he didn't feel interested. He felt two-dimensional, very two-dimensional. And that program with David Francisco really got to add more dimension to that character, right? You got to see a bit more depth to him. And that was when you could see him reveling in that, like being able to play a bit more serious, a bit darker in his role. Like we saw that with the match. And then you had the stuff going on with Harry and with Josh James. And I'm convinced that we might be getting something that we were going to get with that. I've always been convinced, I've said this all along, that this really like nicey side that you see was eventually going to be like the laughing, joking, and then like you said, it just gets very serious.
Yeah.
And he's got that laughing and joking, and then he turns a little bit. And that's what I think we're going to get going into 2026. So I'm with you on that. I think that's what we're going to get. We're going to get this laughing, joking Shah, and then when he's had enough, he switches and the butcher is out. Like it's going to be an intimidation tactic. I think it's going to be interesting. So yeah, you mentioned Michael Oku and Connor Mills. I mean,
who got winning that?
I think Mills should win this one, and I think that's Mills. And I spoke earlier about Nearly Men, right? And Mills is the poster child for someone that it feels like everyone is into, and has in the last year and a half he is really locked in, like
so much better and more rounded and more like 100%. I know who Connor Mills the wrestler is.
Yes,
like I completely understand everything he does, and he understands himself so much better now than ever before. And I mean, we're talking about a year and a bit. No, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of 2024 to the end of 2025, we're talking about like almost 2 years worth of playing with this character to get it exactly how he wants it.
Yeah.
But I always go back to that Trent match. The first Trent match was when it was like, this is Connor Mills now.
Yeah.
And he stayed true to that ever since. I think this is an opportunity for Mills to make Oku tap out. That's what I want to see.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
That's the finish I want. And also I really like the Gunther and John Cena is built around the idea that John Cena never gives up. Gunther makes everybody give up.
Mm-hmm.
Oku's made a big thing about being like John Cena. I'd love Mills to make Oku give up.
I think that. Yeah.
And if they don't want it to be a tap out, like literally have him pass out in the ring, like do something, like Austin and Brett. Like I just want this match to be the making of Connor Mills. Like the Zack Sabre Jr. match was fantastic and was a massive breakout moment for Mills, but he didn't win. We need the match where it's a massive star, it's a massive stage, everyone's watching, but Mills is the victor.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's the way they should go with it. I think it would give Mills such a boost as well to have like that win over Michael Oku. Like, yeah, that's
Semi-main
what I'm
event?
thinking. No, no. I think this is third from top.
Put Mercedes and RHIO in between?
Exactly, which a nice segue there, Dave. So, you know what? I'm looking at this card, right? And I was just trying to work out something there as well because you look at the names on this card and it's incredible. Like you've got
That's nuts.
WrestleMania headliner, obviously under Sasha Banks, but WrestleMania headliner
Yeah.
defending a bloody independent wrestling title. But not only that, Dave, we have two people on this card who have wrestled at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That is
And none of them are in the main event.
No, and to be fair, I was looking to see if it was three because there was someone else who's in contention to be the third, and they weren't. The closest they've got is wrestling on the Access shows at WrestleMania that weekend as part of the company. And I thought maybe they'd been there in a managerial capacity as well, but they hadn't. That ended just a month before. But yeah, it's mental, absolutely mental. But Mercedes Moné versus RHIO. So look, I think I'm not going to claim Nostradamus here. Probably Stevie Wonder could have seen this one coming. But I think we saw quite early that Mercedes and RHIO were like their paths were colliding soon, right? And we've been saying that for a couple of months now. That's why we thought this might go. It was, do we think it's going to be RHIO? Do we think it's going to be Danny Luna? We've been keeping our eye on it. And so I suppose the question that I've got for you is, well, actually, yeah. So I'm going to set the stage for this because me and you, we've had this discussion over text a couple of times, and we love to just put random statements out to each other. Sometimes go, this is what we think is going to happen, and I think I said something to you like the match at Wembley is going to be Mercedes Moné, Kanji, Emerson Jane, and then I think it said either Saf or RHIO, I think it was. Basically, what I think I was going with was everyone who Mercedes has defended the title against will come back to all try and defeat her, like the Avengers against Thanos. Like they'll all come back like that. And then you were saying, now I think RHIO. Like, and I think you were kind of just being that going against me a little bit there for a bit of a joke, but then I said absolutely no chance because there is no way Mercedes is going to lose until she loses a belt on the AEW side.
And the minute you said that, I was like, oh yeah, of course, you're completely right. Stupid of me to think.
Then what happened, Dave?
And
then Red Velvet beat Mercedes. And now I'm kind of like, huh. Because it was technically an AEW related product.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, does it count? Because it's actually only an interim title. It's like, she still counts it. It's the amount of belts that she's holding. Yeah. It's not the fact that it's the belts she's holding, the number of physical belts she's holding, which is what gets counted. I'm like, But saying that, I don't think we see a title change here, personally. I think Mercedes retains. I think Mercedes, as long as RevPro can book her, I think Andy will, quite rightly, get the most out of his money as he can, because once I know, terrible.
I tried not to make it too audible, my laugh, but yeah.
I think once she's gone, this isn't like a Leo Rush. Once she's gone, she's coming back down the line. Like she's done. I would imagine. I mean, I hope to be wrong. Like I would love to see her come back and do a program with someone in a non-title capacity, but it seems like a waste in that sense. So once she's gone, she's gone. You want to get the most out of it while you can. You want to get that longevity out of it. There's still a story to be told of Kanji. There is.
Yeah, there is.
And this is also a key point to make here is, again, I've seen people who are getting really caught up in cards and bless them, I don't think really understand what a pro wrestler's schedule can be like. And I know there's other shows on over the weekend and whatnot, but people are like, well, they can't possibly be there because they're at this show on the same. Like I've seen people say, well, Kanji can't be there because she's in an attack show earlier in the morning one day. I'm like, means nothing. Like if they want to find ways of doing things, they can. And I don't know what her schedule for Sunday looks like. I don't know whether there's a chaos show or an attack show there. But given it's around the Bristol, all around Bristol, Cardiff area, I can't help but think that Kanji might feature in this in some way, whether it's as a corner woman for Mercedes coming out, whether it's at the end of the match. I don't see her interfering in the match necessarily, but it's important to remember that there's history going in there with how Rio kind of took the lead over her a little bit as well, and how Kanji felt about that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I find it really interesting. What I will say, I believed Kanji was going to beat Mercedes at high stakes. I thought Mercedes
yes,
would
she
be a
did.
one and done title defense. I never for a moment felt Saf was going to beat her. So there was no jeopardy for me there. And I never felt Emerson Jane was going to either.
No.
I'll have jeopardy on Sunday because I think that there is a really good chance Rio wins this. I also think there's a really good chance that Mercedes defends. Like, I think this comes down to what agreement does Mercedes and Andy have? Was it always a year?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not as like, you know, is that the sort of thing Andy would listen to and be like, mate, it ain't as complicated as that. We literally just we talk about it when we can talk about it, and at some point it's
Mm-hmm.
going to have to go, and we'll have to write a story when she says it's time to drop it. Like, is it like they're making it up as they go along? Because, you know, that's wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially independent wrestling, where you don't have creative control over every single wrestler because they're signed to your company and can only work exclusively for you.
Yeah.
Is there something to read into the fact that Mercedes isn't on the Wembley poster, but Rio is? I don't know. Is there... Do I go back to the fact that I always thought Kanji was the one to finish her story against Mercedes? But then is there also the part of me where, you know, the number of times I've had the conversation where it's been, oh, yeah, that was the plan then, but plans have changed since then because of X, Y, and Z. And you're like, oh, right, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there a better person for Mercedes to lose the belt to than Rio, other than Kanji? No, there's not. And the only reason I say other than Kanji is because Kanji is so ingrained into Rev Pro. Rio's not as much. But at the same time, Rio beats Mercedes, Kanji comes out and challenges her, and you've got, right, now we're going to build this for Wembley next year. Like, we're gonna keep them apart for months and then bring them together, keep them apart again, then bring them together. Like,
which, if you remember when we spoke about it, how we thought it was going to go, that was the role that I said I thought Windsor would play. And going into the anniversary show this year, I, like you, thought we'd get to the anniversary show done, and Windsor would be the one potentially that we pick the belt up over Mercedes for then the feud with Kanji using their history. And it really does feel like they're trying to move Kanji and Rio into this really competitive rivalry, doesn't it? So
100%.
I think, like you, I think Mercedes retains. I mean, let's just talk about the year that Rio's had. Like, she's never been in more demand across the world. I am shocked to my core that Rio was not picked up as part of any of the WWE tryouts.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I genuinely don't know what more you could want in a wrestler. Like, she is strong. Like, she's got a lot of similarities of kind of what people love about Jordan Grace in terms of a look, right? That big strength-based look. She's still very feminine in how she looks as well. So it's not like she just looks like a bodybuilder. Like, she's got the cool hair. She looks like a superhero. Like, she's got the cool blonde hair and she has aura. Like, I hate using that term, but she does have an aura.
It's true. It's true. You know, it is true, mate. And it's difficult because you don't want to be like, she's a good-looking woman, and you know that that's important to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
She's unique. That's important to them. They don't want, you know, well, there's no point having Kalisto when we've got Rey Mysterio. You know, God forbid us have two luchadors. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of old school philosophy of like everyone's got to be able to stand out.
Yeah.
She's 100% got her aesthetic down. You could
Yeah.
literally just take her and put her in with the big coat, the purple hair, like leader of the pack. Everything about it works. She's absolutely quality in the ring.
Yeah.
I'd say the one thing that kind of is there to be like worked on is the consistency with the talking. But I'm also really mindful of the fact that, one, that's what WWE prides itself on, being able to do with like their promo classes and stuff. And secondly, whenever we hear people talking, it really depends on what they've been told to go out and sell, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes her promos might lack a little bit of conviction, but that might just be because she's been given crap to work with.
Yeah.
You know, so
100%, mate. Yeah.
everything about that, and also I feel like I've just kind of shat on her a little bit for her promo because actually, her promos are often very, very good. I'm just saying there's a lack of real consistency there, but it's still, you know, you could say that about almost every British wrestler because of the fact that they don't get many opportunities to do it.
Yeah, and look, conversely, I've seen the work she's been doing in Eve as like this real vicious heel. Like there is just no regard for the rules, and just going in and attacking.
I bet she thrives in that environment.
Yeah, and she does, and the way she talks, and she's got the person I think she's most aligned to in how she cuts promos, Samoa Joe, and I think I've said this for years. Samoa Joe's the most underrated talker in the business today because he doesn't cut a promo, he talks and gets your attention.
Yes.
And I think she's very similar in that sense. And yeah, I say, look, if she was to walk away with the title, but this year, I mean, she's got the what they call Fourth Rope is the name of the company. I think they're based out in America, like New Orleans, North Carolina, that area. Like they have her as their champion, and have her fly out for that every few months.
Wow.
You've got her out in France quite a lot. She's the ICW World Heavyweight Champion, not just like the champion. She's the Eve champion, picked up a big win over Nyla Rose. So RHIO is definitely someone who her profile, for those who didn't know her, has massively exploded this year. I think she walked into this year as the Progress Women's Champion as well. So look, I don't think she will win, but it wouldn't be a shock to me if she won. And I think you're right. I think she is the next best option of all of the people you probably could put the belt on. So yeah,
I like that, mate. So that's all the title matches plus the big Oku and Mills match. Do you want to kind of like bounce through the other ones? Do like a quick couple of lines on each one?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So look, we spoke about title matches, Rev Pro title matches.
Oh yes, there is one more title match, isn't there?
An AEW National Championship match. So you know what I love about this, right? So when I think it was my first ever Southampton show I went to, was because they announced Pac was there. I'm like, Pac is with AEW. What's going on here? And I don't think he was a champion at the time, but he wrestled in the 1865, and it was like, this is mind blowing to me. Look, I'm not going to mention who his opponent was. You can look that one up yourself. Not the person you're thinking of, but another one. But that was a really cool card that featured. I think ELP was on that one. Emi Sakura was on that one. Like, amazing card in hindsight. But yeah, it was like, okay, this is cool. And then that was the time when it was rumored that he was going to be the international champion, because the idea was for AEW that this international champion would just go to random indies around the world.
Yeah.
Then they decided that they wanted Orange Cassidy to have a belt. Fair play. Bloke is brilliant. But then that felt like you've not got someone who might be as keen to travel the world and go to random little indies everywhere. So it kind of muddied the waters of what this belt would be. So then that became what it became, and now they've brought in the national championship, which would suggest America, but is being defended against independents all around the world by the look of it as well. That's a really long way of saying, like, I think it's fucking cool that they've got this belt that is going to be going out and defended in other companies. And in the space of just over a year, you've had actually in the space of 2 years, you've had 3 or 4 AEW title defenses on a Rev Pro show.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
mental in itself. Ricochet being there, mate. I've said often enough, right, how Ricochet was on the very first Rev Pro show I went to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be able to go in and be like, Ricochet was on the first one I've ever gone to and the most recent one I've gone to.
Yep.
10 years apart, actually, almost to the month. It was October 2015, the first time I saw him, and obviously December 2025. So, mate, that's incredible. Like, I genuinely love that we've got him. He's such a phenomenal wrestler. He's only got better. He is someone that, come to AEW, has thrived in terms of his character work. And I expect that to really be played up shithousery against Nino.
Yeah.
And I think, it's going to be a great fighting from underneath performance by Nino. I think.
What a fucking cool spot for Nino, eh?
Exactly. Like, when I saw the posts coming up saying we've got a big match announced for Nino, right? I'm not going to lie. They posted a picture of him with Jushin Liger, right? And now, normally that wouldn't mean anything because that's just a massive moment he's had. But I did see a couple of weeks ago, Jushin Liger came out of retirement to wrestle Joey Janela. I think it was only like 5 minutes. And I was like, you know what, right? Wouldn't it be cool if, like, on a big show, you could do that 5 minute spot here? And I was like, what if it's something like that? It's what was also really funny is about 5 minutes before this match got announced, me and Marty were just talking, and we were like talking about like what else we could be getting on the card, and we were both like, wouldn't it be cool if Ricochet was on the card? And then about 5 minutes later, this came out, and we were like, oh my god, like, yeah, I think this is one of those ones where, and this is what I love about indie wrestling, that I don't think you can necessarily have with an AEW sometimes, right? So when you've got a big TV company, everything needs to feel earned and make sense to me, right? And not that this isn't earned, this is an earned opportunity, but this just feels like one of those moments where everything around it is so earned and so story driven, where you can just go, bang a match, big opponent, let's fucking go, and just revel in the match. But yeah, Nino Bryant has like absolutely earned and deserves this.
Yeah, he's been an absolute standout of the year, and I love this for him, that, you know, he's not just tucked into well, first of all, it wouldn't be out of place at all for Nino to not be on this card.
Mm-hmm.
Then it could be, okay, we're going to put the Flying Bryants together against somebody, and it be one of the opening matches, and it just be one of those things that you know, in a year's time, and you think back to the Uprising card, you can't recall that match.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a big spot. It's going to be a match of the night contender for a lot of people.
Of course it is, yeah.
It's going to be one of the moments they're most looking forward to. And yeah, that's because they're looking forward to seeing Ricochet. But everyone looked forward to seeing Okada, and then they saw Okada wrestle Will Ospreay. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what these matches are about, isn't it? So, yeah, really, really, really happy for Nino. He's absolutely earned it. And for me, really excited to see Ricochet. Like, I always have this thing of, if I've seen somebody wrestle for someone other than Rev Pro, it's a bit like going to a music festival and you're like, yeah, I have seen that band live, but it was a massive build and it weren't their show and it wasn't with all their stuff and it wasn't, you know, like, it wasn't. I've seen Slipknot twice. I saw Slipknot at Reading Festival. I saw Slipknot in London Arena, the old Docklands Arena. They filmed it for their Disaster Piece DVD.
Yeah.
One is very different from the other.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's, you know, it's like, I saw Ricochet. I saw him come out for the gauntlet at All In. That was cool. This is going to be, I'm getting to see Ricochet properly now. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, same, mate, same. And that was it. I've seen Ricochet twice, but much like you, I didn't count that as my, like, this is the proper time. Like, as part of a gauntlet, it's fun, but actually seeing the proper match, yeah.
Yeah.
And look, what's going to be really cool is going to be see how Nino defends that title on Dynamite next week.
I mean, of course, yeah. 100%.
Also, just noting that as well, while we're talking about AEW, they've actually made an announcement that Ring of Honor tapings are going to occur before the Cardiff show and the Manchester shows, and it's going to be Ring of Honor Global Wars UK. So
Yes.
I've already tweeted to Mr. Tony Khan about a match that I would like to see. That is a rematch between Kanji and Deonna Purrazzo. I think that would be amazing because what a way to showcase, unless you would put her in there against Mercedes, what a way to showcase Kanji on a Ring of Honor product for the first time. But
Yeah.
I'm wondering how many of the Welsh lads we might get. I'm wondering if we might see
Well,
a Jay Joshua or someone.
very interesting. Well, the thing is, the Chaos show is at the same time as Collision, right?
Of course it is, yes.
Not for Manchester,
No.
but for this weekend. At the Chaos show, a certain Made of Stone man was meant to be performing, and he no longer is.
Interesting.
His spot is now being taken by TK Cooper instead.
Ah.
Interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting.
I wonder why he's no longer available on Saturday night.
I wonder why it is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing over the course of those shows who's going to be in there. I'm slightly gutted because obviously I've booked the Cardiff show, and two of the things that I would have loved to have seen. I wanted my wish list of three things was a Takeshita match. I wanted an FTR match, and I was hoping, because even though trios aren't really my thing, I was really hoping I would get an elite reunion trios match.
Do you know what you are getting?
Yeah, two of those. I mean, what I'm getting is great, but two of those things are happening in Manchester next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm going
Don't hit me, because I literally know nothing. I've not kept up with AEW.
I'm just going to be fair, mate, I've not really been watching much AEW recently, but I'm just trying to remember what it is that I'm getting. My brain is all over the place, and I'm not going to lie. But I think what I'm getting is Swerve versus Josh Alexander, which is going to be fantastic.
Banging.
Gonna get the Sisters of Sin versus Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander, which is
the Sisters of Sin. Is that Sky Blue and Julia Hart?
That is indeed, mate. Gonna be getting Mark Briscoe versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT title.
Oh, I'd like that. I'd really enjoy that. I like those two a lot.
And Takeshita versus Claudio. So I think
nice.
I think we've got one more match on the main card to come as well. I think there'll be
much better than last year's.
Yeah. It feels like a really good card, and it'll be interesting to see with being Collision. I haven't watched a Collision format in a while, but Collision always felt like more of the wrestling show than the entertainment show. So it'll be interesting to see if they do round out with something else to kind of give those pops of people coming out. Tony Storm and people like that should surely be in town. Will you just get them coming out? Will Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron come out? New tag team champions, all that sort of stuff. Will they do something there? I'd like to hope they can do a little bit of that as well. But Swerve versus Josh Alexander, I was like, this is cool.
Tasty.
That was going to be the match. Speaking of tasty and AEW, this moves us on to Mark Davis and Trent Seven.
I really thought you were going to say, speaking of tasty and AEW, that moves us on to Alex Windsor, and I was going to be like, George, you're going to get us cancelled saying that.
To be fair, mate, I didn't even. It wasn't until I was saying I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not saying about that match. So yeah.
Mate, yeah, I'm really, really happy for this match. One, everybody knows how much I love Trent.
Yeah.
But secondly, what I really like is people. I was talking to a few people last week, and they were like, surely we're going to get some AEW names. And as always, I downplay it because I'm a pessimist and a realist. But also, and then you start seeing some announced. But what I really like is I don't see any AEW names on this card. I just see Rev Pro names because I'm like, yeah, Dunkzilla, he's like Rev Pro. Ricochet's Rev Pro. You don't just get a random person. You get history with the company, and I'm really excited because last time I saw a singles match with Mr. Mark Davis was instantly at Priory Centre against RKJ. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him back. Him and Trent. It's one of those matches where we spoke about it. I speak about it with anyone and everybody because I think pacing of a card is so important, so vital. Yeah. There's 10 matches on this card. There needs to be some matches that don't go long because, like, Oku and Mills has to be long.
Yeah.
Jay and Shaw doesn't have to be like 25 minutes, but it can't be under 15.
Yeah.
Mercedes and RHIO can't be under 15.
Yeah.
Like,
and we've also got to factor in with some of these as well that will have the big pomp and circumstance entrances as well.
Yes, yeah. Fletcher, Davis and Trent could be one of those matches that's not that long.
Yeah.
If they just go straight out of the gates, beating the shit out of each other. Like, it'll be great fun. It'll be a really good palate cleanser sort of match that you can put on anywhere. You could have it open the card. You could put it on second to last. It doesn't really matter where it goes because it's so flexible and versatile. But it could really benefit the two matches either side of it by being that cleanser in between.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to see it added.
100% with you. Yeah, like you said, it's an AEW name, but it's also not. Right, and that's what it feels like. It feels like it's one that makes sense, and again, just shows you the history that Rev Pro have and bringing people up, and also these names that then go on to these companies that were, like you said that about the singles match. The last singles match I saw of Mr. Davis was the 1865 against, at the time, a young lad called Luke Jacobs. Don't know if you've ever heard of him or not, but that just shows, doesn't it? And we were just talking about this earlier. You mentioned earlier about John Cena. Who's John Cena facing in his last match?
Gunther.
Yeah, you mean the guy who also wrestled at the 1865 in Southampton. Like, these are the people, like, that's what I'm loving, like, looking at these sorts of cards and everything that's going on around the world. Like, the UK scene is hot right now.
Hey, like, you just told me all the wrestlers that are wrestling on AEW Collision, right?
Yeah.
And you like Josh Alexander, seen him in the 1865. Swerve Strickland, it was the anniversary of his match with Leo Rush and Ryan Smile against the Elite at York Hall just a couple of weeks ago. Like, most of the names you said there have wrestled for Rev Pro. Mark Briscoe's wrestled for Rev Pro. Like, almost everybody there, and it's cool. Like, the wrestling. It's a phrase Andy uses about the world being local and how it's wrestling has created a local world and how it's not implausible to see wrestlers from all over the world popping up in companies all over the world. Like JJ Gal's not wrestling this show because he's out in Japan. Like, you've got these cool opportunities for people.
Mate, do you know what I never realised? Swerve has wrestled at the Gordon Craig Theatre.
Yeah.
Against Pete Dunne for SWE. God, I love looking at these sorts of things on Cage Match. Electric Ballroom against Will Ospreay. Like, that feels like a right... Like, the fact that Samoa Joe's wrestled in the Electric Ballroom blows my mind. Like,
yeah, Rampage Brown.
Yeah.
Rampage Brown versus Samoa Joe, one of the early Progress shows.
Yeah. I love looking at all of these sorts of things and just being like, all these places that these guys have come through and wrestled in. Like, it's what independent wrestling is all about. Bloody hell,
absolutely, mate.
Wrestled Chris Ridgway in a leisure centre in Swanley, Kent. The one that really gets me is the fact that he's wrestled in Portsmouth. Like, I think that was the Portsmouth card that had fucking him on. It had Will Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Mate.
Jeff Cobb versus Mike Bailey. Jack Swagger was on the card. Like, crazy stuff. And it had Rob Elias defeating Sha Samuels. Funny how things go
Hilarious.
around, isn't it? But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so look, let's. This is me just going off on a tangent and looking at things. That's why I should never have cage match loaded. Yeah. So everything you've said there about the style of match, I'm with you. Right, the pacing of this card really needs to be spot on. There was two matches for me that jumped out on this card that I thought were they really needed on this card. However, I also appreciate that people have been putting in a lot of work and they want to get people onto cards. So if you
Yeah.
want to do that, that's fine, but you need to make sure everything's paced correctly. So I'd say this one could be very good, but like you said, under 10 minutes, give us what we need. And this feels like one anyway that you couldn't just bust out at another time because obviously it makes these schedules and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
It becomes a
yeah.
lot more costly to do, doesn't it? Whereas he's already in the country, so let's just do something. Like it makes up
100%.
a lot of sense. The other match for me that was along that line was the new Sons of Southampton.
Yep.
But I tell you what, right? Like this for me, again, this is also another one that feels like unless you're going to do another random Cardiff show at some point, I like a Cardiff as a new regional, which it
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like that would be a bit of a jump for Rev Pro to do right now because the Welsh scene is so hot and there's a lot in the market already. I love that this gets like we obviously Shane Hook is out there. People are starting to see more of
Yeah.
him on Rev Pro. Tommy Vril is one that
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see this weekend because I've heard amazing, amazing stuff about him. I saw Manders just post like Tommy Vril when that match got announced. Like, so the fact that he's gonna be there, and I don't know a lot about him, but Josh Holly, I keep hearing his name mentioned. So
Well, I'll tell you
I'm
what,
really
mate.
excited for that.
You want to know about Josh Foley, and you want to know about Tommy Vril, and you want to know about Shane Hook. All
Like, I
three
watch that on
lads,
YouTube, mate.
all three lads posted Instagram reels at exactly the same time, all of which end with the exact same quote about the
Oh,
new wave of the revolution is about to begin.
oh, interesting.
Um, and yeah, they're absolutely class. Like they've literally just done you might not have heard of us, so let's just give you a quick taste of us in a minute.
Oh, I love. I
Um,
did see something of
really
Shane
well
Hook, but
produced,
I didn't actually get
and they
watch it
literally
yet.
you knew how timed it was because obviously the collaborations to the Rev Pro channel come to me, and it's literally ping 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 ping. Josh Holly's invited you to collaborate. Tommy Vril's invited you to collaborate. Shane Hook's invited you to collaborate, and you're like, okay, what's this then?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm excited for that. It doesn't need to be a long match. Like give each of the lads a couple of minutes to get their shit in and showcase themselves.
And look,
Francisco more than anybody deserves a big spot on a card like this, and it's vital, I think, for the 2025 or nothing storyline for Kelly Six. And although that's not a Rev Pro storyline, that's Kelly Six literally putting that out into the ether and hoping something comes of it.
mhm.
And I genuinely believe that if it hadn't, he would have retired. That Francisco, turning to the dark side, got him what he needed.
Yeah.
He was never going to get it by towing the party line.
Hmm.
Like it's really, really important for the dynamic of that trio going into next year. It could be one of those matches that opens the show and gets the ball rolling, or it could be one of those matches that you put on between two of the longer matches. You could pepper them in. I don't think Alex Windsor and Anita Vaughan needs to be tremendously long.
I don't think.
I think there's a
Yeah.
few matches that you could put in that could just be 8-9 minutes long.
That if I'm looking at the matches where I think which ones do need to be longer, which ones don't, I think you're going to have one that you said like Shah and Jay needs to be a little bit longer, but not too long, not too short. Oku and Mills is going to be your really long match. I think
Yeah,
Mercedes of Rio is going to be long featuring entrances.
yeah,
Nino and Ricochet isn't going to be too long. I wouldn't have thought.
doesn't need to be.
No, it doesn't need to be. So that means you've got room for one match to be longer, and I think This one is the one where you don't. I would have this one somewhere. Like if I'm thinking about it, I'd probably put this one before Michael Oku and Connor Mills, Mercedes Mone Rio. Like you put it up the card there. Then that gets us on to let's talk about Windsor and Vaughan next. That is the one that I would give more time to. Like you've got that and RKJ and Manders, what we'll come on to in a minute, because I think they've been doing such great work with this feud as well. With AV's like she's now a heel in Rev Pro. Cena is a heel in Eve, but not in Rev Pro. She's been a big crowd favorite here, and this is her first match, I think, since she's done that turn.
It is, yeah, first time we've seen her as well.
So I think depending on how this match goes and how this ends, I can't not see a Windsor win, but could we see a Windsor win by DQ? I know it doesn't happen very often, but could we see something like a Windsor win via DQ because some of the other little shits in the Cutthroat Collective get involved, and that leads us to a Windsor and NINO match down the line or something like that.
Yeah,
but I think it's a good sort. And look, I know, and I'm gonna sound woke as fuck saying this. I know this, but we have two women's matches on the card, and I think and they're both big matches. I think it's important to give time as well. I just think so.
I just think that I think the reason why and when I say like it doesn't need to go as long, I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about being a short match. I'm saying sort of like just shy of 10. But I feel like this match is going to be... This isn't the destination match, is it? The destination match is Windsor versus Sapphire. I feel like we're going to get Windsor and Nina versus Sapphire and Anita before we get Windsor versus Sapphire.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be one of those matches where we get to see Anita being the big heavyweight hoss. Windsor's going to get the win, but she's not going to make Vaughan tap out. She's going to get her on a roll up. And then the Cutthroat Collective are going to attack Windsor, and Nina's going to come out and make the save. And I feel like this is more of a match to set up further matches than the big match itself, which is why I think it will probably be a little bit further down the card.
I understand that.
But I am really looking forward to seeing Anita, and I quite like the idea.
Yeah,
I quite like the idea of. It's difficult because in WWE they've got Raquel Rodriguez and what's her name, Liv Morgan.
Yeah,
and they do the whole kind of Diesel and HBK thing. But it's very kind of like on the nose, HBK and Diesel. I quite like the idea of Anita Vaughan and Sapphire Reed having that Diesel and HBK
dynamic as well, yeah.
But not cosplaying it.
No, just yeah, I get what you're saying.
Sapphire, the cocky little shit, Anita, the big silent badass. It doesn't need to be her wearing a leather jacket and walking around like she's like David Finlay pace walking. Like,
no, I'm with you. Yeah,
but I do like the proper hoss. I'm kind of the Jake Hager to the Inner Circle, that sort of vibe. I'm thinking I feel like this could be the making of Anita Vaughan.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, I think
I've enjoyed her work so far. But I don't think she's hit her stride in Rev Pro yet. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
And this could be it.
She feels a much more assured performer in Eve. She feels a much bigger deal, and that's because I think she's really found the character to lean into, and I think we'll see that a lot more in Rev Pro as well. I think she's someone that, as a babyface, she thrives, but she again has so much more magnetism to her as a heel. Because she just feels 10 foot taller. She's a bigger lady anyway in terms of like how her presence carries her and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, mate, I'm well looking forward to this match. It's gonna be a great one. My eye just caught me because as I was keeping an eye on the graphic there to make sure where we were, I saw that AEW announced what I'm presuming is going to be the final match for Collision. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kevin Knight.
Ooh.
That is going to be very
that
cool.
tag team.
Yeah, they're a tag team, but it's in the Continental Classic.
So, cool.
Yeah, that is going to be a banger. Right, Dave, final match for us to go over, mate. Final match for us to go over. Ricky Knight Jr. versus one called Manders.
Who wins?
I think... So, there's a couple of routes you can go down this one. My heart is saying to me RKJ. Because I think I think if you have Manders take a win here, Manders has to be into title contention territory. And if you have Shah retain, Manders can go up against Shah and it will feel the jeopardy would be there. If Jay wins, the jeopardy's gone. I think RKJ. Yeah, I think he gets the win. And I think because we know on the card as well, we've got a Leighton Buzzard announcement about what his career.
I'd forgotten this. Like, well, where are you getting that from?
Where am I getting what from? That he's got an announcement.
A Leighton Buzzard announcement.
He posted it on Twitter. He said he's not booked.
What did he say?
He said something this earlier in this week, maybe last week. I'm just trying to find it now. He's not
in his backstage reaction.
Yeah,
he said that he's not booked on the card. Something's got to change.
Yep.
Uprising. Everyone will see like what's next for Leighton Buzzard.
That card has been announced for. Unfortunately, I'm not on it. But after 3 consecutive losses, I wasn't expecting to be. We keep working. I'll still be there in Cardiff, though, and I'll be making an important announcement about the future of El Capitan and Rev Pro.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So he's actually said an announcement.
Yes.
Whereas my reaction to his reactions video was more along the lines of, is he going to interfere in someone's match or jump somebody post-match or align himself with someone?
Yes, and
you know, like how Cameron Kai just came out with Leon Slater at the anniversary show, and it was like, oh shit, like they're a thing now. I wondered if Buzzard was going to do that with someone.
And I think you can go a couple of ways with this, right? So look, I think Leighton Buzzard really shone as a heel, and I think that if we're not turning Michael Oku heel anytime soon, right, which I don't think we are. And Jay Joshua is a pseudo babyface heel. He thrives in the grey. Connor Mills maybe is a little bit more heelish in how he is, but also thrives in the grey.
I think if Jay wins the title, he'll be like far more babyface consistency in his presentation.
He's WWE WrestleMania 30 Daniel Bryan at that sense. People will want to cheer him and you have to get on with that. So you need some strong heels. Ricky, to be fair, is getting like mixed reactions in the sense of heel and apathy, right? For various reasons, okay? And I've said to you, I can just see these two working together. And I'm trying to will it into existence, right? Because I don't think there's any value at the moment of putting Ricky Knight Jr. at the top of the card going after the title again. I just don't. Not right now. I think Leighton Buzzard, you can't put him at the top of the card right now, but you can introduce these lads as a dickhead. I've said this before, rated RKO style tag team. But I think what we're going to get, something really wholesome for an announcement. So I think we're going to get a first half announcement. And when I say, I'm not necessarily saying that there's going to be an interval, but first half of the show announcement, like we carry on, we go again, all that sort of stuff. And then I think in the second half he helps Ricky Knight Jr. And I know that
they have a mutual friend in Brett Semtex.
Yes, yeah, they do. And you know what? I was just kind of going down sometimes warring enemies bring a level of respect out in each other. And I think
of course.
That kind of we're both overlooked. We know what we put each other through. Imagine what we can do together, and it can be as simple as that. It can be as
Yeah.
simple as that.
I do think that Ricky suffers a little bit from not having like alliances with other people, in the sense that when you I'm Andy Quilden and I'm booking a card and I've got all these pieces, I need to put them into place because I've booked them all, but I haven't really thought about, I booked them well in advance and I've not really thought about what I'm going to do with them yet, and I've got some spaces to fill where I'm going to do my Friday afternoon phone calls to, everybody who's on the peripheries of RevPro to see who's going to come in and fill those little spaces. And with like Leon Slater, you could be like, okay, well, I could do Leon singles, or I could do Leon and Liam, or I could do Leon and Cameron, or I could do Leon with Young Guns, and we could do the youngest guns in charge, or we could do something with Harry, and then you're like, okay, Mills and Joshua. We could do, at least there's an option to do something there with Mills and Joshua singles or tag. With Ricky, it's like Ricky singles match then.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I've got. I've literally got a Ricky singles match because I've got nothing. Ricky don't play well with others. And whilst that makes him different from everybody else, it also is a little bit limiting because it's like, well, it can get a little bit, repetitive. And it can, maybe that's part of the reason why sometimes we say Ricky feels a little bit directionless, because when it's not all about him, but he's booked on the show, it's a case of, well, we'll give him this person, they can have a good match. Yeah. So I like the idea of there being a dynamic. I like the Ricky and Leighton immediately jump to me as people that I think would work well together. Yeah, I do. I think it would benefit both of them. And I'd like to see Leighton. I'd like to see him heel again. I'd like him to be a little bit. I'd like the presentation to not just go back to the heel Leighton Buzzard of old. Like, I like the way that he evolves.
You know when he was in London and he came out and he had the leather jacket, and I said I
fucking love that, mate. I literally, I still think about that all the time. He's the Triple H return.
I'm your stepdad now. Like, go get me a crate of beer. Yeah, that Triple H return. Like, I fucking love that. Like, 'cause it felt like a really strong look. He looked different to everyone else. He looked like a fucking star.
Yeah, he did. He really did, mate. So yeah, like, I'm really intrigued into that. And just talking through the card with you there, mate, I don't think I'd really contemplate. Often I don't until I start writing my preview. I don't really take into just how exciting each individual match is.
Yeah.
And I think they've got a really cracking card there, because
it's a great card. Yeah, it really is a great card.
Yes, it's 10 matches. I know that that's going to be exhausting. I know that there's an element of bloat when it comes to these super shows. But we've just gone through the 10 matches together, and I don't feel like we said anything there that I wasn't excited for. And I can almost start to put together in my head, well, what would I do? I'd have that match go about this long. I'd have that match a little bit longer. I'd put that one in between there to break it up. And that's just me thinking. Whereas, like Andy Quilden literally does this for a living. So I feel like this could be really well paced. And Global Wars and the 13th anniversary, if we take out the Leo Rush, Action Andretti, Sunshine Machine thing that just, it flat out didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work, but yeah.
But if you take that one segment out, they produced 2 days of long wrestling shows that were like almost flawless in how everything flowed.
And the other thing to bear in mind for this card as well is that it's a 1 p.m. bell time, right? So
yes.
You don't have time for people to get tired out straight away. Like,
no, that's it. Mate, I'm going to be home by 10. I reckon I'll be home by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Which is what time I get home from every Rev Pro.
So look, it's a 1 p.m. bell time, so no Rev Pro, it means the show's going to finish around 7. And then by the time, but seriously, by the time I get back to the train station, I think I get a train every hour up until about 9 o'clock. So I've got plenty of I've got no worries at all about getting back home.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm going to be in my own bed that night, and like probably earlier than I would be if I was going to a Portchester Hall show. So
Yeah.
I'm well up for it.
Well, I'll
Wicked.
tell you what, mate. Just before we say goodbye, I've just looked at the time. It's 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
In 12 hours' time, you're leaving to get to Cardiff, and in 12 hours' time, I'll already be an hour and a half into my 4.5-hour journey.
Crazy,
So,
right? But
yeah.
I think this is the point we better fuck off from this. And,
I think we had, mate. Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna
good, yeah.
get some dinner, write a preview, and get some sleep.
I'm going to edit this podcast. I'm going to get this uploaded onto YouTube and cook some dinner at the same time and go and pack my case for what is going to be a fucking awesome weekend of wrestling. Mate, I will see
Which has got better by the fact that we're going to go and get a smokehouse tomorrow, which I'm now very excited for.
Absolutely, right.
Cool.
I'll catch you tomorrow,
Love you,
my friend.
bro.
See you later.
See you later, man.